PCOSENTI. It is an emotion detection system for social media posts that's related to the polycystic ovary syndrome, where we identify the emotions and cluster them accordingly to the symptoms that has been identified using several NLP techniques. This is the core idea about PCOSENTI. The problem background. The problem is there are around 80% of teenage girls around the globe affected by PCOS every single year, and there is no proper emotional support that has been provided for all these PCOS affected women, and it needs a high required attention towards these women in order to provide them a better treatment, because a usual treatment won't be enough for all these women who are affected with PCOS in order to thrive through the entire disease period. So apart from this, because it's like a chronic illness, so which doesn't have particularly a cure to it, so it only can be healed with a long period of emotional support, and it has a chance of it might get cured, it might not. So providing a good emotional support is more important than giving a treatment every single day. So it raises a proper need for the people to be treated emotionally as well. But it was underly researched and not much given concern about in society towards the because nobody wants to give that much of emotional importance to it. But if you take the emotions of the woman who are expressing towards the because it differs from people to people, and it based on the different aspects, it differs every single day. So it's important for us to identify how women are reacting to each and every symptoms that has been identified every single day, and how they are reacting to these symptoms emotionally. So in order to identify how these emotions are being expressed by these women towards the PCOS and its symptoms, the social media post can be a better option and the only option to go through, because women are basically more expressive in social media posts regarding the emotions that are being related with PCOS, and they talk a lot about aspects and emotions and all that are being related with this. The proposed solution for this problem by the author is to identify the emotions in the social media post text with the ensemble model to extract them. Basically, this ensemble model in NLP will be having a transformer model and a machine learning model combined together to perform the uh, emotion detection with the confusion matrix to identify how much accurate it was to produce the results. And clustering of the emotions for each symptom has also been a possible way to identify using a topic modeling technique, where each and every talk symptoms in the data will be analyzed and the most topics will be generated, so the emotions identified can be clustered for each and every symptoms, so it will be more usable generated summary for the user to identify whether we can proceed with the future improvements in PCOS domain for the emotional support and care for the affected woman. So the initial implementation brings up a conclusion that all the mining data were created using data mining techniques in NLP, and there has been Reddit API and Twitter developer API. All these public APIs have been used to generate all these data that's needed to test the code and produce the emotion detection and topic modeling functionalities. So in the initial implementation, the author was able to use the transformer model BERT to identify the emotions with the provided data set. So BERT is a Google-based transformer model which was introduced in 2018. So it was pre-trained with numerous tons of data in its deep learning neural networks, and due to its bidirectional nature, it can auto-regressively train the model and data again and again to produce a better results than compared to the traditional deep learning techniques of the DNN and RNN networks. The results of the initial implementation was bit impressive and compelling because it was a positive results, but it can be further improved in the future results with combining it with the machine learning model, which can produce a more better outcome because it will be combined with a more stable model. So there will be two stable models functioning together to perform the same task, so the results will be more optimal and compelling. the topic modeling part still needs to be done using the semi-supervised learning techniques, which is like a core X topic modeling technique, which can where we can like pass the parameters for each and every topics that needs to be identified on top of the auto-identified topics in the data set, so we can get more relatable and more appealing topics in our final results. And apart from that, the UI also needs to be like fine-tuned and a bit more optimized, and the APIs need to get binded with the front end, which is also still pending in the pending task list. And this has to be done in order to provide a better user experience to the user rather than running it as a terminal application. And finally, the website is also needed to get hosted somewhere, because where all these users can use this application in order to like generate the summary by uploading their own data sets into the system, so they can get to know how the system performs, and like they also can get to know more about PCOS and the symptoms it's related in, and how the emotions are being dealt with. So it is like more convenient to like identify all these emotions that are being like identified through this process. So the PCOSENT is all about identifying emotions and clustering them according to the generated aspects using the topic modeling technique for the social media post related with PCOS. Thank you.